All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube, this is Pastor Dowell. Hey, we all know that we have epidemics, pandemics, viruses, and all kind of other things that are going on in this world that we're living in right now. All right, and we realize that according to the FDA and a lot of other people, that I can't not give you what they call medical advice. I am not a medical doctor. I'm just a man that's trying to live right, do right, and do what I know to be right, to take care of myself. I do think that my lifestyle and the way that I live, and many changes that I made over the years can contribute to significant health. So I can tell you what I do as far as trying to maintain an optimum immune system. I want y'all to listen to me very closely, okay? We know that the winter month's coming up, and we know that a lot of people, they get sick during the winter months. And what I want to try to do is I want to try to give you some of my advice so that you won't, hopefully, experience a bunch of discomfort this winter. Now, mind you, I can only tell you what I know and what I do. Now, first of all, number one, anything that I do, I'm not trying to strengthen my immune system, okay? I'm not trying to strengthen my immune system, because your body, the whole entire thing is an immune system, okay? So let's go over some bad habits that harm your immune system, okay? Number one, that tops the list. If you want to try to maintain some optimum health, and if you like feeling good, if you like feeling that nice awareness, that heightened sense of awareness, if you like feeling that, optimum health feeling when you get up in the morning and stuff like that, here are some of the changes that I do in order to keep it that way, and you can implement them or not. Sugar. You must learn how to eliminate sugar almost in every facet of your life. If you can't eliminate it, at least make an attempt to cut it in half. All right, cut the thing in half. Sugar is a destroyer. Sugar is a poison. And hey, they said that they can't even classify Subway as even bread anymore, because it's loaded with so much sugar and additives and stuff. So you have definitely got to cut out sugar in your life. Almost everything that you read nowadays is full of dextrose, sugar, one of the main first ingredients and stuff like that. A moderation as far as a soft drink, a pop, to me, is like one every 2 months or 3 months or something like that. You can do whatever you want, but you don't want to overload your system on a hell of a lot of sugar, because sugar can decrease your immune system by 40% in 5 minutes. 5 minutes all the way up to 5 hours of compromise. So anytime you take any type of sugar, you intake any type of sugar, you drink any type of sugar, you're compromising your immune system anywhere from 5 minutes to 5 hours. Okay, number two, smoking. Smoking decreases immune account, and it actually destroys a lot of things. There's one particular supplement that we don't usually get in our lifestyle, and that's vitamin C. You see, when I mention stuff about supplement or supplementations, or how to maintain yourself in optimum health in order to feel good and all this other good stuff as we live today, I'm talking about whole food supplements, foods, because foods are the best way, in my personal opinion, for me to be able to maintain optimal health and heal my body. So if you're doing the first two that I actually mentioned to you, if you are overloading on sugar, you're smoking, you're destroying not only your immune system, but you're taking the vitamin C levels down. Number three, this is a big one, a huge one right here. Do you realize that many of us, we don't get adequate amount of sleep? I mean, either we have poor sleep quality. You've got to try your best to get between 6 and 8 hours of sleep a night. I put it down to 6 because 6 is my average. Sometimes it's mostly like 4, but I try my best to get sleep. But sleep is extremely important because sleep is what helps your body to be able to recuperate. All right, you need that. Okay, obesity. It's obvious that you're going to be sick sometime during this particular winter season if you are obese, because fats are toxin, and then all these things, because everything today is a disease or diseased. You can't go around carrying on excess weight more than what you're desired or what you should. They have charts out there all day long to tell you. I got a fly moving around here. They have charts all day long. See if I can get this fly out here. Don't know if it did it or not. But anyway, they have charts that move all day long to tell you how much you should weigh and all this other stuff. No, don't go by that. Go by how you look in the mirror. Okay? Go by how you look in the mirror. All right. Another thing is, we had sugar, and then we had smoking. Is that right? Then we had lack of sleep. Then I think I mentioned something about obesity. Number five. All right, listen to this one. Whew. And this is almost an epidemic in this country. The overuse of antibiotics, and believe it or not, listen to this, antibacterial soap. Overuse. Antibiotics, what the pharmaceutical companies and everybody gives us, what they do to me is that they actually destroy my immune system. While they're correcting one thing, they are destroying another. So therefore, think about this. I am 54 years old, and I am not on one prescription drug. I don't have high blood pressure. I have things over the years that I've been able to discern, and that I made changes and adjust in order to make sure I keep myself that way. But I don't believe in getting on a bunch of antibodies and stuff because it takes away from gut health. All right? It takes a hell of a lot away from gut health. All right, let's go with the next one. An excessive amount of alcohol use. Alcohol turns to sugar in your body. And if you're drinking a hell of a lot of cheap alcohol, you're doing stuff with sugar. Let me give you an example. For instance, bourbon, whiskey, and stuff, they either use wheat or barley or something like that, okay? And that comes from mainly what? Breads, okay? And that's the reason why they say that alcohol turns to sugar into your system. Now, if you get if you're drinking high-level alcohol, such as Johnny Walker Blue Label or Don Julio 1942, or any scotch that is like 15 years and above, you're doing a hell of a lot less damage than you are. You're drinking actually liquor that not only could be beneficial, but is caustic to the liver. You're drinking things that like, I remember the old days when grandma and them used to make hot toddies and stuff like that. They would get whiskey, because it was a cheap whiskey back then, because whiskey is whiskey when people don't know anything. But if you can get an optimum hit of whiskey or a very high level top shelf whiskey, you'll do even better. But if you get something like, let's say tequila, like I mentioned, Don Julio 1942, it comes from the agave plant. Agave. That's why it's one of the most recommended drinks that there is, and one of the most cleanest and pure drinks it is, because it's plant-based. It actually comes from a plant in itself. But anytime you have an excessive amount of alcohol use, you are compromising and destroying your immune system. At least that's what I'm doing with mine. All right, stress. Man, this is a big one right here, because it took me quite a few years to learn how to manage stress. And I thank the people in the ministry for helping me managing stress, because at any given time, man, your day could be overloaded with stress. And basically, though, I used to ask people questions. How do you know that you're overloaded with stress? All right. And so what I figured out was stress is that constant pressure that you have in your head and your mind. Some of us, we're just used to it. Like, I live out in a rural area, okay? And living in this rural area, if I don't have to deal with the cares of people's life, if I don't have to deal with too much things that's going on as far as the hub and the work of the ministry here at headquarters or the ministry as a whole, I can maintain my stress levels a hell of a lot better. It doesn't mean that I'm not dealing with it every day, because I don't think there's a day that goes by that people are not dealing with stress in some shape, fashion, or form. That's why it's always good that we all try to make sure that we do things that make for peace. And try to take deep breaths and do a lot of stretching, good stretching throughout the day in order to give your body some relief. Of course, one of the greatest stress reliefs that there is that when the day is winding down and stuff is that you have an exercise program. Do something, go for a walk or anything. Lift some weights or something, anything to help manage that stress, because you're just not going to overrule stress or move stress out of your life, because stress can wreak havoc on your body. It can cause hair fallout, it can cause alopecia, it can wreck and wreak havoc on anyone's immune system and stuff, and compromise it and making it easy for viruses or anything to actually stick to it. So you may want to make sure that you pay attention to your stress levels. On the spiritual side, the next one would be bottling up emotions. This is where a strong prayer life comes in, because a lot of times when you can't speak to people, you will want to have a good solid prayer life with the Most High, with the Messiah. Now, if you don't have a solid prayer life or something like that, or even if you do have a solid prayer life, you still can't beat the conditions of actually going to the person and having hopefully a healthy dialogue. But you can't be living your life bottled up on emotions of bitterness, unforgiveness, and resentment, and all the other stuff, because it's these bottled up emotions and also using your body as a means to throw out insults and sarcasms and stuff. All you're really doing is showing that there is a bitter spirit, there's a root of bitterness in you. There's some inside conflict that's not resolved. And rather than you trying to solve it and resolve it for yourself, you deflect and you use it to attack others. All right? But I tell you what, man, bitterness, unforgiveness, bottling up emotions, throwing out insults and sarcasm and stuff like this, it can also knock our immune system down by 40%. Also, look at this one. That's one thing we can thank as far as what we're going through right now in 2020, because, man, if anything, at least Americans and people in the world are a hell of a lot more cleaner than what they have been. The next one would be poor hygiene. Especially if she's a good, clean woman. Women usually, and I can only base that upon my size, but usually women are extremely clean individuals. I said usually. I didn't say I don't know all women. I just know the ones I know. They're usually extreme, and they're very up on the upkeep of themselves, the maintenance of themselves, and good hygiene. Well, men, you equally have to do that too. Just getting up and hitting the shower, or just brush your teeth in the morning, and then hitting it and going all day long, and not actually doing maintenance on yourself and stuff. I mean, this can also mess up your outlook and quality of life, and also compromise your immune system. Also, I'm gonna give y'all the wisdom that I've learned based on my own personal experience. That's what all this is, based on my own personal experience. Because the FDA and all them says that I can't give out information to anybody else, because I'll be practicing medicine. I don't want to be breaking the law, because I'm more effective with actually speaking to the people out here while I'm out on the streets than as opposed to behind bars. So I'm telling you what I know for myself. You can't use and have an overuse of antacids. You know what I mean? Where you have heartburn, indigestion, and all this other stuff. Let me tell you something that I know personally, that I've learned after doing my own independent research and stuff about the overuse of antacids, okay? And I probably in my whole life have probably taken no more than maybe 15 of them, but still, even at that, I come to learn that if you have a backed up system, such as your large intestines is backed up, or your small intestines, it's not functioning the way it should, you're not eliminating the way you should, It can cause a bunch of backup. It causes a bunch of acids in the stomach and stuff like that. And then you use an antacid to try to correct the problem when you should actually be, me, myself personally, I actually just use more whole foods, you know what I mean, in order to try to correct the problem. And then polypharmacy. What that means is some of you out there probably got about anywhere between 5 and 15 and sometimes 20 prescriptions a day that you're taking. Ooh-wee, I can only imagine how your immune system is. Of course, you know, you make money off a sick population and not a healthy population. All right, and then the last but not least is the lack of exercise. You know, like today is a sunny day. It's a good day. Even in the wintertime, the sun is out. It's good to get outside and breathe some fresh air. You're not going to breathe no fresh air in the cities. All you're going to get is smog and everything else. Now, me, myself, personally, I live out in a rural area, and so I can still tell the distinction between cow poop and a flower. I promise you I can. I can tell a big distinction. I can tell the big distinction between what a goat smells like when it's in season and chicken manure. I can also tell the difference when the raspberries are out there and the flowers are blooming and stuff. You know, it's good to get outside and breathe some good, fresh air. So those are some of the things that you may want to make sure that you are trying to pay attention to so you can remain in optimum health. The next video that I'll come with about things that I do as far as foods and stuff that I eat in order to try to make sure I maintain a good, healthy immune system so it can be in the place to be able to fight against harmful toxins, airborne toxins, any type of diseases that may be floating around that's trying to latch to you, something like that. And remember, your skin, that's a big organ right there, okay? So at least the one thing that I've done is giving you Pastor Dow's advice about what I've learned that are bad habits that harm your immune system. Hope I said something to stimulate thought. I want y'all to have a wonderful, wonderful day.